Why do you keep sleeping with Mr. Peach knowing that you're not going to be good enough to be his wife? Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi, my name is Alexis Jayda and welcome. Today's notification shout out goes to Monique. Thank you for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho. Thank you so much. If you want to be the next notification shout out, all you have to do is like the video, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below, and your comment can possibly be the next notification shout out. I'm so excited. I've been vlogging and I've been uploading vlogs for you guys, and you guys have been loving them. Makes me so freaking happy. I'm doing the story time and it didn't even have to take forever. I'm like, yes. So your girl is gonna keep on track, y'all. I'm so freaking excited. And let me know what you guys are doing. If you guys are eating, if you guys are cleaning, if you guys are driving, what are you guys doing? If you guys are cricketing, I love watching cricketing videos and how you guys put things together. It is so amazing. Let me know what you guys are doing. I would love to know down below, please. FAMBAM Nails by Anna said, can you please show us your nails? So I put this set on today. It's from Kiss. I have my nail sets right here. Look, all done. And then when I'm done wearing them, pop them off. These ones though, I did buff and I did all like the stuff you're supposed to. So these are on here good. Where like I take a shower, go like this, you know. Give my brothers some putazos. They're good to go. I feel so good, you guys. I have this video to do, and then I'm going to edit, and then I have to do a haul. I'm feeling amazing. Thank you guys so much for all you guys' love and support. It seriously never goes unnoticed. I seriously appreciate it so freaking much from the bottom of my heart. I really do. I saw this and I was like, oh my god, I have to get it. And then I have my nails, so I got a little cute little vibe going on, and I want to do my eyeshadow theme of like orange. I think it's so cute. So you guys know I like, okay, I'm gonna show you guys a picture. Okay, so those are my bags, and I wanted to show you guys this one. Oh, I thought I cut the bag. Oh, I almost. So I purchased this one, and I think it's smaller than what I think it's going to be, because when I ordered it, I was like, oh, okay, like I think it's the size I think. Hey, that's a good size. No, is it the same one that I have? No way. Okay, so I thought it was smaller, but they hecka just like, they squished this baby in here. Mira, you guys see? Okay, I thought it was gonna be chiquito. I thought it was like half of this. For some reason, I thought it was like the little ones. Dude, I'm so excited. Hold on. Inside is nice. Okay. It's a big size. Okay. Cool. And now I just have to get the baby one. So I'm going to have the large, the medium, and then I'm going to get the baby chiquito. How freaking stinking cute. This is the same one that I was looking to buy from another seller. Pero esta cabrona, she wants like 300 bucks from me. I'm like, dude. No, that's a lot, but cannot go hustle. But yeah, this is how it looks right now. I'm gonna like clean it and fill it up, and I'll post it in the vlog when I get it all ready. It has like a little bit of stains and stuff, but it's okay. It looks good. I'm so freaking excited. It looks good, y'all. Look at it. It makes me so happy. I can feel it. When I feel like we're all kind of off. We've all been kind of off lately. I feel it, been extra emotional. I've been extra like, I don't like want to like go out as much. I just want to like just, so let me pick those vibes from you. As I'm picking these bad vibes, take some deep breaths. Exhale. I'm picking. I'm gonna pick a little bit more this time too. I'm throwing them away. Just throwing them all away. Breathe. Relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath. And let me give you some of mine. And let it just wash over you. And let's begin with the story time, you guys. If you guys do enjoy story times, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all of that. It really does help me out a lot. I love you. Besos. And let's begin. So after I told Baltimore what she needed to hear like yesterday, Ray checked my ass. Boom. I slide to the dash, and she thought I was being dramatic, but no, she was like, she was trying to do like a little, you know what the motorcycle people do when they're like trying to like flip one wheel. It felt like that. I was like, damn. And I knew it was coming, but my little toxic ass was ready for the thrill. I was really ready to risk it all, because in my little mind, I really thought like me doing stuff like this, I was getting points from that dude, you know, from the ex, and he'd be like, oh, you're so down for me, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, he did not care. He did not care. Did not care. Wasn't going to save me. Nothing. Did not care. As she brake checks me and tells me to not be so dramatic, to get up and sit straight ahorita, which means right now. And I knew she was pissed because her voice was going. So, you know, she was screaming loud if her voice was going. And I just couldn't help but kind of giggle. Now, I don't know why I had this like little toxic trait where it almost felt like as I like think about it, like I was transforming into somebody else. Now, I always say like my sassy side or like my chingona side or my crazy side, I always say it's Jade. And isn't it very fitting for my little baby Jade, because she has me on my toenails, okay? Toenails. Look at this big ass package, a freaking pregnancy test that I take. I'm like, oh, even when I feel a little something, because I am scared. I am scared. I am scared. They always say the last one is always the feistiest one, but I swear Jade literally has like my personality of like, I don't give a fuck, because she really don't. She doesn't. Like, she does not. Even if she's like, that she knows she's going to get in trouble for like yelling back or, you know, getting crazy, she does not care. Anyways, back to me. I was kind of like excited. Not gonna lie, I was kind of excited, and I even smirked when I kind of sat up, because again, I'm mad, pissed, frustrated, and I'm trying to get these brownie points for this dude. So if he sees that I'm loyal enough, I don't know that he will fully love me, and I will be loved, and it will be that kind of love that is just like, oh my God, everyone just desires and wants. I really so cold-heartedly wanted that, and it really trips me out because I was a freaking baby. I remember feeling this way even when I was super duper young. I remember being like 6, 7 and me wishing on my candles on stars when we see shooting stars. I remember just being like, I just want to be loved. I just want to like grow up already. I just already wanted what I had with like my husband. It was so weird, and it always tripped me out why I was always like feeling that I was always such like in a rush to grow up. Like, it really made me sick to my stomach at times that I already wanted to like play house with the husband already. I already wanted to grow up because I felt nasty with like what had happened to me. So I was thinking, and like I came to realization, and my therapist, and even as I'm talking to you guys, I realize so much where it's like at times my therapist tells me things and like it doesn't click, and then as I talk out loud it clicks. I felt so nasty because I was touched so young that I was so ready to play. Oh my God, I was ready to play house so that feeling wouldn't be there no more, because I thought like, okay, I won't have this feeling with my husband, my boyfriend, because this nasty feeling that I have of being gross and like feeling touched, that like I'll be touched by my husband. Does that make sense? And I was just like, I just wanted it, I just wanted it. And I feel like that's why I put up with so much with my ex too, because I just wanted to play house already. I was so ready to play house. I just wanted to because I really thought that feeling was going to go away. And you guys, it doesn't. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. It does not go away. It gets better, but it doesn't go away. There's times when my husband can be so romantic and that feeling comes, and I feel so disgusted with myself. And I feel so bad because I see that, you know, he's being so sweet. That never goes away. And it really pisses me off that like us who have been touched go through this, and those people who have hurt us don't get to have that feeling, that they don't understand, that they don't just traumatize us, you know, those times. It's for life that we have this. It gets better. I promise it does get better. But it doesn't completely go away. And it freaking sucks. Like, it sucks. I wish there is something that I can do. I feel like as I'm talking to you guys more, it does help. But I would be lying if I say like it has completely gone away. It doesn't. Like, the craziest, smallest things will trigger that feeling. And I'm like, I thought we were getting better. It's just crazy. We just find different ways to heal and to kind of like get over it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like... But anyways, I'm over here trying to get brownie points, racking them up, and he don't give up. He don't give up. So I kind of just smirk at her, and I'm like, you heard me. And she looks at me, y'all. She looks at me and starts like pushing me because I know she didn't really want to lay her hands on me, because I knew and she knew that like, okay, if you hit me hard enough and we start going back and forth, I'm not gonna care. Like, I'm not gonna care. You know how it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of, okay, I had a doll, right? And even though I knew that I could like break the doll, you know, like I knew like, you know, whatever, like I can manhandle like my fake Chucky doll. What if that shit came to life? So I knew that she had a feeling that like, okay, if she hits me hard enough, I'm going to hit back. It's like the Chucky doll coming to life. You know what I mean? Like, you just go around and find out, bitch. Like, I was giving her that kind of energy. But she was pushing me hard. And I was like first taking the first couple of pushes. Because I was like, yeah, I know. I got you. I got you. I got you where it hurt. And she pushed me a few times. I remember turning, like moving a certain way, but moving like quickly. And she kind of like flinched. And that right there was enough confirmation of like, yeah, bitch. You know. And I shouldn't have thought that way. I was a child. At the end of the day, she could have freaking manhandled the fuck out of me. And who would have cared? Nobody. She'd be like, bitch, I call CPS myself. Getting picked up, locked away. Locked up, gonna let me out. It could have been that simple. She would have got rid of me. I hated when I would get into this mindset of like, I don't care about consequences, you know, like those Mari babies where they're like getting all crazy and the moms are like, I just don't know what to do. I would get like that, you know, or I would get so hot. At times I thought, you know, little Lex was a little bipolar baby, because if I was pushed enough, I would just turn into Jade and like, let's do it, you know. And how much I would fight and stuff. Like, that's not normal to be fighting that damn much, to like that, you know. It was not okay. But I was hurting, you guys. I was really hurting, and I just really wanted something, and that was the toxicity that I wanted. So she keeps pushing me. I turn, I look at her, I'm kind of just like, you know, look. And she goes to push me again, and I tell her, Baltimore, don't touch me. If you touch me one more time, I'm going to hit you back. Did you hear me? And even in leaving my mouth, it sounded crazy. And she's like, ¿Qué me dijiste? And I didn't repeat it because I was like, bitch, I don't know who the fuck that was. A demon spoke out of me. I don't know. And I was just quiet. And I was just like, she's like, tell me again. And I was just quiet. And so she proceeds to drive. Tell me why I really low-key was a little scared, but I was like, you really thought. And then I was like mad at myself because I was like, okay, how can I start this fight with her again? Because I want to go again. Give me one more chance and I'll say it again. I'll say, you know. And she kept driving and she was like shaking her head. And she was telling me that like she knows all the tricks in the book. She's done them all. And that made me laugh. Because like, bitch, you're still doing them. What do you mean you did? Bitch, you still doing them. What you talking about? And I chuckle. Now she's still driving. She's taking her deep breaths. Oosa, oosa. And she tells me that this is why. And so I finished the sentence for her.
This is why. This is why no one's gonna want me. You're just like your mom. You are a rotten apple. Apple does not fall far from the tree.
She looks over at me and tells me, si fueras mi niña, I would have gave you a putazo así. Tell me, if you were my kid, I would have given you the ass whooping of your life. I knew better. I knew better, and I should have kept my mouth shut because I was acting up and it was not okay. I'm not going to tell you guys that I was an angel all the time. That I was an angel and I didn't say nothing slick or I wasn't rude. Girl, I was fucking ruthless at times. I would say some evil shit where it was like, damn, why did you say that? Too far. Anytime someone would like try and like hee-haw and play with me, I would always say, I don't play nice. I don't play nice. Leave me the fuck alone. I would always give warnings out. Always. Because nothing is off limits. I'm a fucking bitch. It's on my forehead. The boys would not like to play with me because I was a ruthless, rude bitch. And I would go solo or like you couldn't even finish. And I would give you a tissue. Here you go and cry. Even though what? You're going to tell me about this about my mom, this about my dad. I know all of it and what? I felt like Eminem when he's over there schooling Papa Doc and he was just left like not saying nothing. I know. Okay? I'm hurt. I'm going to hurt you. We're going to be hurt together, bitch. And no one's going to be laughing. Nadie. So she tells me, si fueras mi niña. And I said, and she looks at me. She's like, ¿qué? And I was like, that's funny. She's like, why is it funny? You keep thinking that I'm the one who got rid of my baby. Pero sabes qué? I think it was you. I think it was you. I think it was you. And maybe you'll never have an hija because of how you are. She keeps shaking her head, keeps shaking her head. And maybe that wasn't like the slickest comeback because I didn't want to be rude either and be like, where they at though? You know, some rude shit like that, right? Where it's like, okay, go get her. You know, like rude stuff. Okay? Because I like... y'all, like they would get me to that level. So I was pretty much telling her like the rate that you're going, you know, that kind of thing. But she kept telling me, repeat what you said, repeat what you said. And I was like, why do you keep saying that? Like if you didn't hear me the first time, like what are you doing? Like why do you want me to keep saying it? Like why do I have to keep repeating? So I was getting a little bit feisty where even though I was catching myself and I was like, what are you doing? Like what are you really doing? And at that point, you guys, I really chose violence. I was okay with her, like if she was gonna take me, throw me in a ditch, I did not care because I felt like if I did not do everything in my power to see him, then I like didn't want to live. That is toxic thinking. Never, ever, ever, ever let a man make you feel like you have to go and risk your whole life and go like, you know, no man is worth the crazy, like when I think like how toxic and crazy little Lex would get and like risk my health, my life, where I lived, my paycheck. Oh my God. That's why when I left and he was boo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo, because he knew nobody was ever gonna risk their life because no one was gonna be that stupid for him ever again. You know what I'm saying? It was like dumb, you guys, where I really am like, ugh. And I remember when I was working at my job, my first job that I got, I remember there was this kid there. He had just applied and he was talking to me and my friend. I remember this kid barely brushed up against me and he was like, oh. And I was like, what are you doing? But little Lex inside already knew what he was doing because he felt guilty brushing up against me because he was with somebody who he was obsessed with. That's how I was with the ex. No one could like do certain things because I would feel guilt. It was like weird. It was like really weird. Like it's like you're under a puta spell. You're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like I really felt like this dude like did like bruja shit on me because of how stupid I would get. Like stupid. He'd tell me like, oh, you can't go out, but only I can, whatever. And I would literally stay home and he'd be out doing stupid shit because I'd be like, oh, well, I can't leave. I would literally have to text back so quick because God forbid I didn't and he thought this. I would do the dumbest things, the dumbest things to prove that I was that bitch, to prove that I was the ride or die. Like, no. So I guess we're like, I'm kind of like going a little crazy. She like tells me like, ¿qué tienes, Alexis? Like, honestly, like, ¿qué tienes? What is wrong with you? Like, do I need to take you to the doctors? Because how I was talking, and I was kind of like, I guess, like foaming out the mouth, like, no, like, you guys always want to talk to me crazy. I'm so tired of this. And then you over here always playing with me, like, fuck you, Baltimore. And I say, again, she brake checks me, but this time I put my hand on the deck so I can't go out the window. I look at her and I'm like, "Gay, like, you think you're cool picking on me, or always picking me all the damn time? And I was there for you when you went through all that bullshit. I was in your corner when no one wanted to talk to you at the freaking parties that we go to. Nobody likes you. Nadie, no one can stand to talk to you. No one can stand to be around you. You are hated. No one talks to you. The only reason why anyone talks to you is because of the peaches and because of their money, not because of you. What do you think? You're just some nanny that Mr. Peach Box. You're nothing important." Ooh, I was just like, and she just like sat there and like just looked at me. And you know when someone's like really like looking at you, she was really looking at me. And it was like I wanted her to be hateful back. I wanted her to tell me like, "Bitch, you ain't got no mom. You don't got," oh, my eyes look like Cheetos right now. I wanted her to be so disgusting with me so I could be valid on saying everything else I wanted to say. And she's like, "That's how you really feel?" I was like, "Yes, that's how I really feel. Everybody feels like that. No one can stand you. And I don't know what you have over the peaches, but oh, if it was me, you would never be around my kids. You would never be here. And then you're living." And I'm like going off, telling her everything. And she's just sitting there and it's so silent, even though I'm screaming at her. It is so silent, you guys, you can't even hear anything outside in the road. You can't even hear the AC going, where it is just so quiet in that car. I can hear her swallow her spit. That's how like quiet it was in the car. It was, I can't even say crickets because there's nothing. I could hear her like that. I can hear her. And I'm like, "Hey, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Am I wrong?" Like I wanted her to answer. I wanted her to go, right in my face. I wanted her to do it. I wanted her to knock me out, put me on my misery, so I could wake up in the hospital and be like, "You see, this is why I couldn't see you." On some crazy shit. On some real crazy shit. That's what I really wanted her to put me in the hospital so I could be like, "That's why I couldn't go and see you. See, I tried." Because I honestly thought, like, if I didn't try hard enough, he was gonna be like, "Okay, bye," and dump me. I really did not want to risk it. I was really like, he is going to leave me. And as I'm yelling at her, as I'm fighting with her, my phone is vibrating and I know it's him. I know it's him, and he's like buzzing me, paging me, right? Like, what's going on? Blah, 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 blah. So as I'm still trying to get a reaction from her and she's just staring at me, trying to, I don't know, keep her cool. I honestly don't know, you guys. Like, I was just straight telling her facts. Just kidding. No, I was just straight telling her off, and I shouldn't have. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, "Nah, bitch, you deserve this," because all those times that you told me off and I had to sit there and like buck up and chin up and let you like tell me, like, the nerve. It's the nerve. She didn't have anything to tell me, you guys. She couldn't even drive. She was speechless. And I kind of feel proud saying that because of like everything. Like, don't even feel bad for this. Bitch, it let me eat fucking baby poop, okay? Like, it is so much history that I have with this chick where it wasn't the time. It wasn't the place. I was just so like, ugh, and it wasn't okay. It was not okay just because I wanted to go out with him. It wasn't like if it was like a valid reason, you know, in the moment. I just had so much anger that I didn't even know how to express it, you guys. I had my mom out. I had my mom who got out and she didn't even want to see me. Like, she'd rather be with the man who hurt me. I had so much hate and I was so pissed off at these people because I couldn't even confide in them because I knew that they would abuse it. And it just sucked. I always felt like I was just like always looking out for me, and I was always biting my tongue, and I was really mad, y'all, that she didn't give me the reaction that I wanted. I was really, really upset. So as she's sitting in silence, I look at my phone and he's texting me, "You know what? Never mind. You never come through. I hate this about you. You're probably talking to somebody else. Okay, it is just like text message after text messages. At first he was like being nice, like, oh, so you're gonna be able to, it's okay if you can't. And then I switched to, I knew you never come through, this is why I don't with you. And like just being rude and hateful, like you're probably talking to somebody else, I knew it, like maybe we shouldn't talk together, like you're like, my mom's right, maybe we're not the right fit, and like just like stupid stuff. And so I'm just like I just fought with her for like nothing, because like now even if I message him back, he's gonna be like, no, I knew it. And I honestly, I still feel bad about that. I really feel bad that I went overboard with telling her off, even if I feel like it was valid, because it wasn't, I feel, you know? So she's sitting there, puts the car in park, and she looks at me and she tells me that she's gonna go outside for a minute. She's gonna smoke. And I'm like, okay. Like still annoyed. I still gotta act like I'm not okay. And so I start looking out the window. I'm just looking out the window and I could just feel her poking her eyes in the back of my head. And I'm just like this, looking outside the window. Cause I know like I don't even want to text him yet, because if I text him right now, she's gonna be like, maybe I'll spark something, you know? And so she goes out and I can like feel her put her body up against like the car. You know how the car kind of like moves a little bit if you put like a lot of your weight on it. So she starts like smoking her cigarette and like I can feel her body up a thing. I message him back and I'm like, what are you even talking about? Like, I'm trying to leave so I can see you. Like, I feel like I do the most for you and it's never good enough. Like, you constantly make me feel like I'm never good enough. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So I'm messaging back kind of hot. And he replies quickly and he's like, nope, I don't want to hear it. It's always something. Every time that like you want me to see you, I pull up and I'm like, no, that's not true. So it feels like he was just trying to like start an argument and make me be the bad guy, because he knew that he was the bad guy. So he was trying to like put it on me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I literally always drop everything and try my hardest to like see you. What are you talking about? I'm not the one in the car. You're the one with the car. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, and you always say that you're grounded when you're not, because I know you're chilling with so-and-so. He's like, how did you know that what I'm doing? Like, I'm so tired of you keeping tabs on me. So now he's threatening me that if I don't tell him who told me who he was chilling with, then he's never going to talk to me again. And I literally would believe him at times because of how, like, even though he was texting me, how upset he was. Like, I could just feel it through the phone of how upset he was getting, you know? He starts telling me, if you don't tell me who told you, I'm never gonna talk to you again. And I was like really freaking out, y'all. I was really thinking like, oh, he's gonna stop talking to me. I know you guys tell me to show little Lex compassion because of how dumb I was, but it's so hard. It's so hard. I literally fight little Lex inside at times because I'm just so pissed. I could be telling my babe something and I'll tell him like something little Lex did and he'll just look at me and I'm like, oh. Like I just pissed myself off. I'm like, I know. Like I don't know. Like, I know why I did a lot of the things. It just makes me mad that I had to. So he's threatening me, telling me, if you don't tell me right now, like, I'm never going to talk to you again. And you know I mean it. You know I mean it. And I was literally scared. I tell him, that's Skillet told me. I knew it. I knew it. And then he starts insulting me and Skillet that we're just meant for each other. And I'm like, why do you always got to go there? So with a lot of my friends, he would always stir drama. So it didn't matter what friend I have. Oh, it's because you guys have a crush on each other. You guys probably do stuff and you don't even tell me. Oh, she doesn't even really like you. She just keeps you around because she feels bad for you. He was constantly stirring the pot with friendships that I had, or he would want to fuck them. It was always like I could not have like that one solid friend because it was tainted in a way because of him. So I told him who it was, and after I do that, like I know that I'm gonna start arguing with Skillet and it's gonna be something. It's gonna be a valid argument on her half because I'm over here telling him. But I really thought that. And so after I messaged him that, boom, he stops messaging me. And I'm like, okay, so I call him and it just goes straight to voicemail. Now, back in the day when like the calls would go like straight to voicemail, like you was blocked. Like you could like, you're blocked. You're done, you're blocked. And I kept calling, nada. And I was like, oh my God. And I freaked out, you guys. I literally freaked out. I'm like crying because I'm like, oh my God, like he's not gonna talk to me, like he's gonna go do, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was an anxiety attack. If I think about it like more, maybe it was an anxiety attack where you feel like it's the end of the world and you can't breathe. I was literally like, oh my God. Like, what did I just do? Like, that's it. Like, it's done. Like, I have nobody. Like, he was like the last person. I have nobody. Freaking out, crying, hyperventilating. And I'm just like trying to soothe myself, going back and forth. I'm over here hugging myself, just like calm myself down because there ain't nobody to hug me. I'm freaking out. And I just don't know what to do with like all these emotions. I have so many of these emotions where I'm like I know this is unhealthy, me being in this like relationship with him, but I loved him. I even hate saying that, but like, you guys know, like it was like some like, oh, I don't know how to explain it. And I try to justify it because it was a relationship that like I once upon had, you know? So I start messaging, even though like I'm blocked. I'm sorry, you're right, it's my fault. I'm just apologizing up the ass. Everything. I'm sorry, please forgive me. You know, I'm stupid. I was degrading myself because I honestly felt like, oh my God, I'm going to lose him and it's my fault. I didn't text him back quick enough, and I would have been able to text him back quick enough if I wasn't fighting with Baltimore, if I wasn't burning that bridge. I was too focused on hurting her, and I didn't think clear enough. I self-sabotaged myself, and I'm over here just like literally feeling like poop. Like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And it's been a minute, so I'm like looking to see if she's still outside. She's not outside anymore. Like, what the heck? We're kind of like by a bunch of houses, and it's not like if we're like in the middle of nowhere, right? Where is she? So I'm trying to like look around, and like I'm not trying to freak out. So I message her on my phone because I'm like, I'm not gonna open the door because like, what if I open the door and I get kidnapped? So I message her and I'm like, hey, where did you go? It takes her a while to message me back, and she told me she had to take a walk. And I'm pissed off because I'm like, how are you gonna take a walk and leave me here, bitch? Like, what in the f? So I locked the doors because I'm like, okay. I'm secretly like, you broke her, Jade. You broke her. Like, I honestly do feel bad because I'm like, I shouldn't have gone that far. And I was like replaying everything I said and how she was like, give me the histas, give me the histas. And it was just like playing back in my head. 30 minutes pass. And I'm like, so I messaged her again and I'm like, hey, you're gonna come back to the car? She takes a while to message me back, and she tells me, yes, heading back now. I am like pissed, you guys. Like, I really feel like in that moment, I had every right to be pissed. I didn't, but I honestly felt in that moment that I had every right to be pissed because what are you doing just leaving me here? And what if something would have happened? I was like really angry. I still wanted to fight with her, but I was like, Alexis, stop. Like, you have no right. You're just coming off like as an entitled little brat. I'm coming off as Sam. Like, she's rubbing off on you, bitch. Let's just say like an hour passed by, okay? Hour passed by and I finally get a text message from him. So what are you trying to do? Little Lex gets excited. And I'm like, oh, so he's like not fully mad at me. Y'all, I get so pissed because I'm like, how could you have been like this, Jade? Where like he literally just had you at sea, freaking out, you're apologizing, making yourself sick. And the whole time I'm thinking like, he's probably messaging so-and-so, doing this and then doing that. Once I was already like at my point of like, I'm done with him, we were talking a lot about the past. I would ask him questions like, do you remember this incident and you did this? And he'd be like, yes, I'm so sorry, blah, 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 blah. I brought up this incident and I was like, do you remember when you had me freaking out and I was calling you and calling you and calling you and I was leaving you text messages and I was telling you like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, and I was like degrading myself. Do you remember? And he'd be like, yeah, I do. And I would ask him, so like, what were you doing? And he told me that he called somebody else and he was talking to her and he would just be reading my messages coming in and just have me wait. And that once he got done talking to her, that he called me back. And I was like, so I wasn't crazy? And he'd be like, no, you weren't. And kind of freaked me out how you kind of knew like what I was up to. And I was just like, I don't know, I guess giving myself a little bit of like closure. I don't know. So he texts that and I'm like, okay, remain calm. Don't reply back right away. And I'm like, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want me to do to make it up? And he like asks me like, so what time do you think you're gonna be able to meet up? And I tell him like maybe like an hour or two, like I still can't leave yet. Blah 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 blah. She finally gets to the car. She freaks me the hell out because she like knocks really hard on the window, super hard. Where I'm like, oh, and I get scared and I look at her and I'm like, oh, okay, it's her. So I unlock the door, and she gets in the car and we just drive. We drive in silence. And in my head, I'm like, okay, how do we break the silence? Because I still want to leave. I know. I still want to leave. Because now me and him are good on terms after he just put me through all that emotional mess. So we're driving and it's just like quiet. When I tell you quiet. She didn't put on the music and I wasn't going to be the one to reach for the radio to put it on because that would be awkward. What if she smacks my hand and then we're over here fighting again? So I was just trying to like tread lightly without really treading lightly, if you get what I'm saying. So as we're getting closer to the house, like you would think we freaking drove hella far. No, it was just because she wanted to throw her little fit and park. Y'all, I really am. I really am sorry. Like I really do feel bad because it was just not necessary. And like for the reason, I feel like if it was like a reason of like me defending myself, I feel like I wouldn't feel as bad. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like me attacking her because of him, it doesn't feel as good. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's a well-deserved one, if that makes sense. So before we get off, I tell her, so are we going to talk? Like, ¿qué vamos a hacer? And she just looks at me and she says, do whatever you want. But in Spanish, it sounds a little bit more apt. And I was like, are you sure? And when I say like, are you sure? Because like you think that like I would be like, no, like, no, you know? No. I was like, are you sure? And she just like, I don't even care. Do whatever you want. Pero no me pides para nada. Like, don't ask me for anything. And I'm like, but what do I ask? She's like, Alexis, por favor. Ya. I'm never going to see you the same. Ever. Nunca. And in my head, I'm like, bitch, okay. I don't care. But the outside, I was like, okay. Because what do I really ask for, bitch? What do I really ask you for? So she gets out of the car and I kind of take a little bit, you know, time, and she's like by the step and she's like hurry up, like get out of my car, you know? So I was like, oh, okay. So I go inside the house and I kind of just like chill on the couch for a little bit because I'm like, I don't want to leave like right away. What if she's like, bitch, it's too soon, you know? What if she's like, sark, and like pulled me back? I just don't know because I'm kind of like, I don't know how to like move. But like I'm still going to. I just don't know how to do it because how they are. She gets on the phone. I can hear her talking. And I know it's about me because she's like, yes, that's what she told me. Why would I make it up? So I don't know if she's snitching me out to Mr. Peach, Mrs. Peach at the time. I don't know who she was like snitching me out to. So I'm like, I'm kind of getting like a little like, ooh, upset tummy. Because it's embarrassing. Like, you know, like she's over there telling my business. It is embarrassing. So she's saying what she's saying and I'm like, whatever. And I text her, I'm like, I'm gonna be ready in a little bit, blah, 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 blah. At times when I was like a little daredevil, I don't know what came over me. Cause ahora, I'm scared to go outside with my hair wet a little bit too much and get sick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what little Lex was thinking. I don't know what I was doing. Like, I don't know what the heck. He messaged me back quickly. He's like, okay, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna let you know when I'm close. I'm still sitting on the couch. She's still talking about like, yes, like I don't want her here anymore. Like, what's the plan? And I could just like hear like bits and pieces, you know? Like I couldn't stretch my ear out that hard. So in my head, I was like, you know what? I don't even care. They owe me. Bitches haven't even paid me yet. So I'm not even in the wrong. So I'm over here trying to hype myself up And then I'm like, oh, Jade, you don't even like sex. So like, why are you doing all this? Like, what's wrong with you? So now I'm over here having like regret because I'm like, we're gonna have to like fake the funk because we don't even like doing it. So I'm just like going through like all these emotions, and I can still hear Baltimore like getting loud because of like how annoyed she is. Like she is beyond annoyed. Like she is like livid. You could hear it in her voice, and I'm still in the back of my head like, dude, her. She really wants something to say? Like tell me something. What you gonna do? What? All I did was tell you truth. Who's gonna tell you? Huh? Who's gonna tell you? I'm over here having all these fights by myself, and then a message comes in. It's Sam, and she's like, what the f is wrong with you? You know, that's how I'm picturing her saying it, because what the fuck is wrong with you? Why did you have to go so low? When I was reading it, I was like, damn, that is some nerve. That is some nerve. That is some nerve. So I messaged Sam back and I'm like, don't start. Like, don't start with me either. So me and her have our little words going back and forth because she really thinks like she can tell me something. I get it. She cares about Baltimore, whatever. You know, family sticks together, whatever. But I didn't want to hear it. I was like, dude, shut up. Shut up. So like I tell her, like, don't start with me, Sam. Like, for real. Like, don't start with me. I'm not in the mood and I don't really care what you have to say. Like, I really, honest to God, I really, really, really don't. So me and Sam are going back and forth. I'm not too like rude to her or disrespectful, but I guess it was enough to have Baltimore come downstairs and she's like, hey, don't be messaging me, Sam. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, what? That wasn't enough? And goes upstairs. And I'm like, okay. So Sam's still messaging me. I'm like, hey, don't tell me anything if you're going to be crying to Baltimore. Don't tell me anything. She stops messaging me because I don't know. She probably didn't think that. I don't know. So I was like, okay, for real. F y'all. Like, for real, F y'all. He tells me like how close he is. I dip. And Baltimore messages me back saying, wow, you really disappointed me. Don't care. I stay out late, but not too late. I know I shouldn't have been testing the water, but stay out late. Have a ton of regret because like I'm telling y'all, it wasn't anything where I'm like, oh my God, you know. A little TMI. I really wish that I would have enjoyed it, so it would have been worth it. It was a lot of pain for nothing. I just wanted that comfort in fake love because that's all I knew. I really was like jealous at times when girls would tell me how fun it was, when my friends would tell me, and I'd be like, dang, that's crazy. I honestly thought like it was just gonna be one of those people that didn't enjoy it. Even women that I would hear, or they would have like their adult conversations in front of me and they would complain or they would say certain things, I would always think like, oh, so it's just sucky for everybody. My friends must be lying. Really trips me out. But I'm really glad that I did not enjoy it, because what if I would have been worse? You know what I'm saying? What if I would have been worse? So thank you, God, for like the deck that you dealt me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ooh, that is pretty. So I stay up pretty late. My mom even messages me. She says she had like a feeling that something was wrong. Did you come and save me, Mom? No. So I don't even message her back because I'm like, I don't even want to message her because she's going to like start something and be like, why are you up? And then it's not going to come to anything. She was just trying to check in because of her guilt. So when me and him were together, I was kind of explaining how my mom's out. That's your mom. We only get one mom, yada, yada, yada. And I would just like look at him because at times it was only convenient of like, if he was doing really like bad stuff to me, then it was like, oh yeah, you got to forgive your mom, because like my mom could put me through so much. Then like I would have to forgive him because like my mom put me through the worst, because that's your mom, you know, like the like sick way that he would think. So it's getting like late and I'm like, okay, I know I have to be back by a certain time because like we might go to whenever, depending on if the peaches want to throw a little bitch fit or not. Okay, as me and him are talking, his phone keeps like going off. It's not ringing, but like the light keeps turning on. I knew that he was going to try and lie and be like, oh, it's my mom, because that's what he would do. Even though I knew he was going to lie about who it was, it took so much in me and like talking to myself, because how he had me on my toes. And I really hate that like even now I get like this with certain individuals, because like I know how they're going to like pop off. And I had to like coach myself on how to ask and like tell myself like ask with a smile or don't ask so annoyingly because they're gonna be like, why are you like being weird or whatever, right? And I was really like fighting myself on how to ask him because I didn't want to irritate him. I didn't want to ruin the night. Okay, how are you gonna ask him? Because it was really bothering me. Like the light kept turning on and he kept like eyeballing it and would like kind of like okay, like just like look at it and like turn it over. But we could still see like the light turning on. Like it was just like, okay, dude, like it's noticeable. Like, are you gonna answer or not? Like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do here? This is a situation. Let's solve it together. Myself, I kept fighting and I kept fighting. Don't ask him. Don't ask him. It's going to ruin it. He's gonna get mad. Don't ask him. Even though it's a normal thing. But God forbid if I ask, because then it's a problem. Don't let anyone make you feel like that. They're just animals. They're doing wrong, so they're trying to justify them being humans. So after like the 10th time, I'm like, are you gonna answer that? It's like, is it maybe your mom? Like maybe it's your mom. He goes and starts itching his head. Like that was his thing of like letting me know like you're irritating me. So he starts like itching his head and I'm like, and I just like melt into my seat and like my stomach just goes to like my butthole and I'm just like, and I immediately just look out the window because like I don't even want to like see his face. I don't want my face to irritate him. Like I'm just like, so I'm just sitting there looking outside the window because I already know that I ruined the night. The night is done. Like, oh God, you didn't ask right. You asked to this. Like, oh, you should have just waited. Why did you do it? And I'm just like, I'm more mad at myself for being so dumb and letting him have the upper hand like that because I knew that like I deserved better. I should be able to ask whatever I want freely. I shouldn't be scared just to ask like the simple question, even if it is annoying. Even like who cares? If you're so comfortable with the person, like why should I feel like that? Like this is normal. These are normal things that you're asking. Like these are normal things that you're asking. Normal things that you're asking. Remember I told you as we got older and I would ask him and he was like trying to like redeem himself. When I ask him like, do you remember this? And he'd be like, yes. Yeah. I would just get so scared that you're already gonna know. So like I'd rather fight with you than tell you the truth. And I would tell him like, you are such a piece of shit. Like you really are. And he'd be like, I know. And you allowed me to be. And it's so true. I allowed him to be because I was so desperate for that toxic love. So I wasn't wearing my camisa. And before I could even get the words of like, cause I'm still looking this way, like I'm sorry. He chucks it at me. And I just immediately know like to put on my clothes. And he gets to driving. Why do you do this? Why do you always have to ruin such a good time? Like, why are you like this? Like, I think you like it when I get like this. Why are you like this? And just screaming at me. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, I'm mad at myself too. Like, I'm mad at myself too. Like, why did I do it? Like, why? We're having a good time. Why did I do this? He's like, we fought earlier. Then you want to sit there and apologize. Like, I don't even think you're sorry. You know what the fuck you're doing. Like, why do you do this? And then you make me out to be the bad guy. And in my head, I'm like fighting with myself back and forth. Like, no, you are the bad guy. Then I'm like, no, he's not. Like, why did you have to ask? And I'm just like fighting with my head, dealing with my own like guilt and like fighting with myself, like, why did you do that? Why did you do that? And he's like, huh, like, I'm talking to you, you can't hear me, I am talking to you. And I'm like, no, like I hear you. Like I don't know, what don't you know? Like, how don't you know? So you just never know what the fuck you're doing? You just never know what the fuck you're doing? Are you are? And I'm like quiet because like I don't know what to say. Like I don't know what to say. I don't know what kind of answer to give him. So then he starts punching his radio. Why do you do this? Screaming on the top of his lungs. I start crying because I start becoming very uncomfortable. And I'm like, dang, this is like a broken like record. Like we always do this. Like we're always fighting. Like these fights are now becoming so like repetitive, and especially like in the way that it happens, that it's like deja vu. Like, oh my God. And so I just like stay quiet. And he's like, why do you me? Like, why do you do this? Just screaming, calling me stupid, screaming. And then he like slams on the brake. And then I tell him, like, can you stop? Because like I'm getting scared, because like I don't want to die. Like, what the are you doing? Do yourself, not me. He's like literally trying to freak me out on purpose, driving crazy so that like I'm freaking out, and he's getting me there like a freaking out. And I'm like screaming and crying, and he's like, just answer me, like, why the you do it, like, why are you this way? And I'm like, just because I asked like who it was. No, like, you know what you do. And I'm like, oh my God, that's all I asked. That is literally all I asked. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you know what the fuck you're doing. Like, why couldn't you just leave it alone? Like, why couldn't you just leave it alone? Literally like hysterical, like just crying, like, I don't know. And he's like, no, tell me why you're such an R. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm not. And he's like, yeah, you are. Like, we know what you do. Why do you ruin it? And he's literally just telling me that like I ruined it. You guys, I didn't. It was just him. He was just sick, and he thought like that was okay to react like that and to be rude and blow up, because he didn't want me to know that he was still talking to Maria. He didn't want me to freak out on him and be like, I'm done, even though he like disposed of me like this. So we're literally like just driving crazy. It feels like we're the only one on the road. It's like one of those things where like you feel like you're the only people alive, because so much crazy stuff is happening and the person's getting away with it. So he's driving crazy. I'm screaming, like I'm scared. He's yelling at me that he doesn't care, that why do I do this? That I make him crazy, that I make him mad, that I know what the fuck I'm doing. And then he's screaming at me, and I'm just staying quiet, because in my mind I'm thinking if I stay quiet, like maybe he'll just calm down because he feels stupid. No. So I honestly just don't know what to say. Like, I'm just like, what do I say? Like, what are the magic words that I can say so that this stops? What are the magic words? There's none. There's honestly none. I'm just replaying everything back in my head of like, why did you do this? Aren't you tired? I swear we have this conversation, Alexis, so many times with yourself. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you keep doing it? Why didn't you just leave it alone? Because at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. So why are you bringing attention to it? Huh? What did you want to gain from it? Nothing. So why did you do it? I don't know. So I'm literally just like, I don't know. So I pull out my phone, because I tell him that like I'm scared, that like I'm going to call my mom. And he like starts to laugh. She don't give a about you. She don't give a She's probably your stepdad right now, and she does not care about you. You think she cares about you? So I'm like, yeah, she does. And he's like, no, she doesn't. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care about you. If she cared about you, you wouldn't be here. If she cared about you, you would be living with her. But she doesn't care about you. She cares about, he says his name, she doesn't care about you. And I'm like, yeah, she does. She's like, no. The only ones that she cares about is your brothers and your stepdad. She doesn't care about you. And I'm just still holding my phone, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm still going to call her. So I go in and I like call my mom, and he grabs my phone and just like chucks it, and it breaks. And I'm like, what the fuck did you do? Because I'm just like, oh my God, like, how am I going to get a hold of my mom? I'm like, how am I going to call my mom? Like, I always start checking in with her. She doesn't care about you. She does not care about you. So he's like yelling at me that she doesn't care. She doesn't care. That like, what am I thinking? She doesn't care. And I'm like, oh my God, it's broken. So I'm like trying to fix it. And as I'm trying to fix it, we're getting closer to Summer's house. And I'm like, just drop me off. So now the roles reversed, and now I'm yelling at him. And I'm like, I hate you. I can't stand you. Start telling him all this shit. telling him I didn't even have fun, that it wasn't even worth it, and just like going off on him. He's like, oh yeah, and just like being rude to each other, saying like the nastiest things, telling him I can't stand him, and he's just telling me, hurry up, get the F out of the car. And I'm like, okay, pull over right now, I'll get out. And I'm already close, like he's already close to the house. Before he can even say anything, I get out of the car and he's gonna say something, and I'm like, shut the f up. Slam the door, and then I run inside where it's like a dramatic run, telenovela. I run all dramatic, and I'm holding my phone, and Baltimore left the door open, gracias a Dios, and I go inside, and I'm like, my body hits against the door, and it just goes down, and I'm like crying, literally dramatic AF, okay? Like it literally was like out of a movie, and I literally just sit there, and I'm just like crying, because he broke my phone, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, this is literally like all I have. What am I gonna do? So I start messing with it, start slapping the shit out of my phone, like literally like giving it CPR, trying to fix it, putting the battery out, putting it back in, and gracias a Dios again, it starts to work. But the screen is messed up, so it only shows me like half, like weird. It's like weird. And I'm thinking like maybe he's going to text, maybe he's gonna be like, hey, if it does work, like I'm sorry. Nothing. And so I'm like crying, and I'm like pissed off, because again, I'm like, why did you go out? You literally are doing this to yourself. There's a lot of things where it's like, if I just stayed home, I would have avoided. But no, I was just necia, dude. Just necia, and I wanted to be out in the calle. So it was like, if I didn't get out, I felt like I wasn't living. It felt like I was just prisoned. Like I honestly felt like that. I felt like if I didn't get out, or if I didn't do what I wanted to do, it literally felt like I was a prisoner, and it felt like a movie. Like it wasn't real. Like I wasn't living. Like I wasn't seeing the outside world. Does that make sense? Like it honestly felt like that. Baltimore ends up coming down, and I know that she sees that my eyes are glossy from freaking crying, and she just kind of just stares at me, gives me a little smirk. So it didn't go like you wanted. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It didn't go like you wanted. And I just tell her, I'm like, okay, like, is there something that you needed? No, me hables así. Don't talk to me like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to bed. And she, before like I'm like walking away from her, she grabbed like my arm, like really, really hard, or like the next day, like I had like bruising where she grabbed me. And she tells me like not to walk away from her when she's talking to me, to stop being so disrespectful, that she lets me do whatever I want, come and go as I please. And I was like, barely. And she's like, don't interrupt me when I'm talking. She tells me that she wants that to be the last time that I disrespect her like that. That is going to be the first and the very last time that I ever disrespect her like that. And I just look at her as she's holding my arm. I'm like, okay. And she like just like throws me. And I'm like, oh, you really thought you did something, bitch. I'm just tired. I go upstairs. As I'm getting ready for like bed, going restroom, changing, all of that, I'm going to take a pill. Because remember, Tammy went and got me pills so that anytime like I'm hurting and stuff, I don't have to ask them, I will have it. Well, they're not in my bag. So I'm annoyed. I am hot because I'm like, oh my God. A little bit of TMI too. A lot of the times when I would have, you know, with him, it would hurt a lot. So I would come home, drink so much water. It was like crazy. And I would sometimes take a pill if they were available to me. I wanted to take a pill because it would hurt. Like it would suck, you guys, having to sit there on the toilet and like try and urinate. I remember when I moved back in with my mom, I would drink like a lot of water because it would just hurt. And I honestly thought, you guys, like that was just life. Like I honestly did. So I noticed that the pills are missing, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like, why? Like, why? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's mine. It's not hers. What the hell? So I go out there, and I guess she can kind of see that like I have like some attitude. And she's like, ¿Qué tienes? And I tell her, like, why did you go like into my room? And she's like, what do you mean? In my house? You mean, why am I going into my room? And I'm like, okay, like my pastillas are not there. She's like, and I tell her, I'm like, they were there. Where are they? And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, you do. They were in there. She's like, no. And you guys, it literally felt like she was doing it on purpose to like irritate me, because it felt like she was trying to bait me to see if I was gonna get crazy with her again. But I kind of felt like if I got crazy with her in her house, she was gonna grab a knife or something. So I was like, I'm not stupid. I'm not falling for it. So I just kept asking her, and I'm like, where is it? I'm like, it was there before I left. Like, I'm hurting. She's like, you know why, right? And I'm like, oh my God, again? I'm like, we're gonna do this again? Like, it's not funny. Like, I don't laugh when you tell me that. Like, it's not a good one. It's not a good joke. She just like looks at me, gives me the ugliest look. I don't know where it's at, Alexis. Vete. I know. I'm like, it's only me and you. Only me and you. I could see if the kids were over, okay, maybe. But it's only me and you. Only me and you. I don't know. And I'm like I know you're lying. Okay. So I'll go back into my room, and I'm pissed because down there is throbbing, and not in the good way. It is throbbing. And I'm so irritated because I was like, I kind of like powered through because I knew I was going to have my freaking ibuprofen, and I was like, I'm gonna be all right, but I'm not. So without even thinking and just like acting on impulse, I message Mrs. Peach and I tell her to please tell Baltimore to give me my pills back, that I left and I came back and they were gone, and I don't think that it is cool or nice that she takes my stuff like that, and that I'm hurting and I really need my pastillas and stuff. That like, why does she just come in and take whatever she wants? Instead of her replying like, okay, I'll message her, I'll let her know, she tells me it's her house, she can go in whatever room. They were really focused on me saying that. Like, they were really irked that I said that. And I'm like, it's not even her house, it's your house technically. And she's like, Alexis, stay out of like adult business, and that she can go in whatever room, and that it would be stupid for her to take the pastillas. If she doesn't think she should take the pastillas, that I probably am not looking good enough that to look. And I could just hear her voice through the messages. Like, I could just hear her voice. So I'm like, so I literally tear that room apart. Like, I literally look for it because I'm like, maybe I'm tripping. That little hair was like bugging the out of me. So I literally feel like I'm tripping. Like, okay, like maybe it's true. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have messaged her because like, watch me find it. But y'all, like, no, like I was not tripping. Like, they were really like just playing with me. So I take everything apart. I even start putting things in the hallway because I'm like, okay, where is it? Like, where is it? So that if they all of a sudden like appear, then like, I'll know it's them, you know, and they'll know, like I know. But then they're like, Alexis, does it even matter? No, because then later they don't care. Like, you need to get it through your head. They don't care. I'm like literally doing that. I get a message. It's from Joe. Joe asks me, hey, I need to ask you something. Like, I need you to be 100 with me. And I'm like, what, Joe? As I'm still like moving things around. He messages me again. I won't judge you. I just really need you to let me know. Okay, Joe. What the fuck is it? Still moving things around, cleaning things. Well, tomorrow opens the door, looks at me. ¿Qué estás haciendo? I'm trying to look for my pastillas because you guys are saying that you guys didn't take it. We didn't. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, who else is here? Just me and you. And so I'm like still looking at the thing. Phone goes off. There's a rumor going around and I need you to let me know if it's true or not. Okay. And he is messaging me back. My screen is like messed up, so I really have to like look at the phone when he is messaging because it's cracked. So I literally am like that, like all kinds of stupid looking at my phone. So I can't find the pastillas. I end up putting the things back. It's a mess, and I'm just like, oh my God. So I go and knock on Baltimore's door, and I tell her like, can I please use a pastilla? She's like, no. And I'm like, why not? She's like, you can't use a pastilla. It's, can I have a pastilla? And I'm like, okay. And she's like, you know why you're hurting, right? And I'm like, she's like, no, like, dime. So I tell her like, it's because like I do cochinas, whatever. And she's like, closes the door, opens the door, and gives me a pastilla. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Like, oh my God, she really had me feeling like a crackhead over freaking ibuprofen. I didn't even hear like my phone ding or like whatever. So I didn't really like go to it right away. Like I take my time because I'm like, okay, I got it. Finishing getting ready for bed. And by the time I got my phone, I have a couple messages from Joe. He's like, so like my phone's like messed up, right? So all I see like, so it is true. Like, why are you like, that's so dirty or so grimy for that? And like just being so rude. And I'm like, yo, like chill out. I was doing something and I'm like trying to read. Oh, this mirror big. This has like a lot. I'm like trying to do something, and that's why we're giving people the benefit of the doubt too, because I'm like, you just never know like why they like texting back right away all of a sudden and then they like stop. Like things happen, okay? Like it's not always like, oh, that's suspicious. No, people have lives and things happen. So like that's the message that I see. My phone dies and I'm like, oh my god, great. So I'm like freaking out because I'm like, what? I don't know why when we're like so young, we literally think like it's the end of the world for everything. Like you literally are like, oh my god. It could be like the smallest things. Even now, grown as hell, I still think like, oh my god, it's the end of the world when like things happen. And I really have to like have talks with myself of like, no, it's going to be okay. Like, and if it's not, we're gonna figure it out. I literally have to talk to myself like I don't know how many times, because I'll literally freak myself out, y'all. Like it's just so bad. So I tried to fix it and my phone is like not turning on and it's like acting up. Great. So the charger that I have, where I'm like trying to force it so much, I break it. Everything that was happening, I was like, okay, great. But it's because I was acting like so like, oh my god. So I was rushing things. And when you're rushing things, you tend to do things roughly and they don't go as planned. Like it doesn't go perfect because you're literally like freaking out and it's rushing, so it's not going to go good. So I'm like, oh my god, I really gotta message him back. So I go around the house and I'm trying to find a charger. I go downstairs and I see one, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use this one, which I shouldn't have grabbed Baltimore's, but I was really desperate of what this was. So I grab her charger and book it right back upstairs. I need to figure this out. Like, what did I do? So I'm like trying to charge it. It finally charges with Baltimore's charger. And I'm like, gracias a Dios, it works. So I'm letting that charge a little bit, you guys. And I like literally feel like time is going so freaking slow because it's not turning on fast enough for me. I'm like, oh, like what's going on? Like what is he talking about? Calling me grimy. And I'm like, why am I grimy? Like, does he know about me and the ex, and like what we did in the car? Like, oh my god, did the ex go and tell people? And so I'm like literally like freaking out, thinking of every possible scenario, like literally every possible scenario. And I'm like freaking out. What could it be? And I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. Just kidding. Oh, I curled my hair real quick. So I get like 3% on this phone. 3%, okay? It's gonna die quick. 3%. And I finally read out what he said, and he's asking me if I'm sleeping with Mr. Peach. And I'm like, I literally like look around the room like if I'm being recorded or something, like, am I being punked? Ashton Kutcher, are you about to pop out? I'm like, what the fuck? And I look at it and I'm like trying to, because like it's cracked, right? So I'm like trying to like read the messages, and he's like, is that why you had an up? And I'm like, whoa. And I'm like really trying, I don't know how it like that story came about. And I'm like thinking like, oh my god, I should have never hugged him. Did he like get things messed up? Like confused. I'm like really thinking, I'm like, oh, who started this rumor? Y'all, I was like speechless. And where I wasn't replying, it made me look guilty as fuck. And I was like even mad that he would even like ask me. Like, I'm insulted that you even have to like confirm if it's true or not. Like, what the is wrong with you? Who raised you, bitch? It was Mrs. Bubbles, but still. So I was like I was like reading the messages, and he was like, why are you taking so long to respond? I knew it was true, this and that. And I'm like, really? Like, what the? And I'm like, the phone is dying, y'all. The phone is dying. And I messaged back and I'm like, I'm not her husband. Okay? As soon as I send that message, should we do a Libra or a Sagittarius? Baltimore busts open the door and is like, don't be taking my shit. And I'm like sitting there trying to like make a baby with the charger and the phone. Like, what? I'm like, "Gay?" like trying to fix it. And she like yanks it from me. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so I tell her like, what are you doing? We're literally yelling at each other. And I'm like, what are you doing? Give me charger. She's like, it's mine. Just because you lose your pastillas does not mean you go and get even. I'm like, no, like that wasn't even the intention. Oh. And I'm like honestly, I'm like, no, de lo juro, like that's not like I just wanted to charge my phone. She's like, no, that's what you did. That's what you do. And I'm like, that's not what I do. So I'm like getting mad at her because she's making me out to be like some thief, and I was just going to charge my thing and then give it back. I'm like having to like talk to her, and I'm freaking out because I'm like, wait. They think I'm sleeping with Mr. Peach. Like I'm freaking out inside because I'm like, who else knows about this like sick rumor? And yeah, like I'm really like, who? Like it's not like if I got any friends or anything like that, but it's just like the sick little like thought, the sick lie of it even being in people's mind, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense why Bubbles reached out. Like, oh my God. So like so many things are going in my head. She's like looking at me. She's like, why do you look like that? Why do you look like that? So she's getting annoyed because like I'm freaking out. And I'm like, they think like I'm fucking Mr. Peach. And she's like, ¿Qué? So like her face, like she's probably a good actor because like I believed her, and I'm like telling her that Joe thinks that, and she's like, why? ¿Qué? And she like throws the charger at me. She's like, dang, like gives it to me because she's like, what? She's probably like, bitch, you trying to steal my mans? You're trying to steal my mans right now? And so I'm like, yeah. And so like she gives it to me, and I'm like trying to charge it, and we're both sitting there, and I'm like waiting for this freaking phone to charge because who in the started this rumor? So I'm like sitting there waiting for it to charge. It took forever. And I'm just sitting there, and she's like looking at me, and she's like, relájate, like getting mad at me. And I'm like, I'm trying. And I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm like grossed out. And she's like, relájate, Alexis, like, you know it's not true. Who, what, where, when? And I look at her, and I'm like, what do you mean when? Never, ever. And she like kind of like looks at me, and you know when someone's like looking at your face and they're kind of trying to see like if there might just be even on like a possibility. And so I'm like looking at her, I'm like, I don't know. I was like, oh, what? And she like looks at me, and she's like, relájate. So she's like super duper annoyed with how I'm responding. Y'all, it felt like it was like if it was true, like it felt like, I don't know, if it honestly felt like it. And I couldn't get the feeling out of my stomach. Like I don't want Joe to like think this. Like I don't want Joe to think that like that, just because of how he's like, oh, you think, oh, it is true. So the phone finally turns on. 2%. I'm only on 2%. Okay. Message, all his messages. My dad was writing about you. Blah, blah, blah. Don't talk to my mom no more. Like just being a little bitch. Okay. And I'm like, and so I'm like, who said this? And he's like, oh, is it true? I'm like, you already think that it's true. Like it's not true. Like I don't know what to tell you. Like, no, I already told you. Like, no, it's not true. No, you didn't say. So I guess my message didn't get through to him because the phone died, or I don't know. So I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Boom, the phone died. She's sitting there. She's on her knees, and she's like, pues dime qué, what he's saying, yelling at me. It's giving me anxiety, and I'm like, it just died. It literally just died in front of me. And she's like, then, and she's like handing me her phone. Then, and I'm like, she's like, message him, pinche pendeja estúpida. And I'm like, don't talk. Message him ahorita. Why are you taking so long? Because it's true. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, no. No. You're not doing this. Pinche pendeja estúpida. Tú pendeja. So I'm like, I don't know his number. Yo, I did not know his number. And I wasn't like, because I was like lying or anything. I dead ass did not remember his number. She's like, mentirosa. Dime ahorita si estás haciendo cosas con él. And I'm like, So she's like, tell me right now. Tell me if you're doing things with him right now. And I'm like, de lo juro, like I swear to God, I'm not. Are you serious? And I'm like looking at her and I'm like trying to like look at her face. Like, do you honestly think, like, why would I tell you what he said if I did something like that? I'm not nasty like that. You're nasty like that. She's like, like, so she's like, because I'm insulting her. So she's like, bitch, you better, like, what are you talking about? Tell me why this bitch starts to cry. Tell me why this bitch starts to cry. And I'm like, ¿por qué estás llorando? Like, why are you crying? It's not true. She's like, dime, I won't be mad. I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure? And so me even saying that, she's like, why aren't you denying? I'm like, I've been denying. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Tell me why. She's like, shaking. Bitch, she's quivering. And I'm like, I want to be like The Office where they look at the camera like, do y'all see this? Do y'all see this? So you honestly think like I'm sleeping with her husband? Bitch, it's not even your husband. Why are you crying? Why are you crying right now? The nerve that some of you putas have. The nerve, I swear to God. Swear to God. Baffled. So I'm gonna end it there, you guys. I love you guys so freaking much. Thank you guys so much for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho. If you guys enjoy story times, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. It really helps me out a lot. Comment down below, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you guys are notified the next time I do post a new story time. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's makeup look. I really like how it came out, super pretty. And it really just gets me like, Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 la 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 la. Speaking of Halloween, look at the new coffee cup I got. Super cute, huh? Super cute. I love it. It's so cute. I love you guys so much. This is a Phyllis, and I'll see you guys in my next story time. Bye.